Om Bhadram Karnaibhih Shrunuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhir Yajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhihi Vyashemadevahitam Yadayuhu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome, dear friends. As every year, at least for last about 17, 18 years, 4th July kickstarts our summer session. The programs for the summer, they begin with the Independence Day celebration. In the summer, you feel a little more independent. Do not have all your other schedules. The school schedules are closed, and many people go on vacations. So that is why this Independence Day marks the summer programs. Although we have a very tight summer schedule, but it is beginning from today. Then as you see it from today itself, from the evening, we have meditate-a-thon. That will end on Sunday evening. And then other programs will follow. The Guru Purnima comes next. So that is on 12th. Celebration is on 12th. Guru Purnima is actually on 10th. But for the convenience of the people, we have to choose a weekend. So it is on Saturday. Then on Sunday, well, it is not put in the timetable, our schedule, regular schedule and flyer, it is not there, this program. Welcome, Gordon. So it is a very different, special type of event that some 150 people, 150 devotees are traveling that day from New York to Providence. They will be traveling previous day, visiting some other places in Rhode Island. And then they will stay overnight at Seekonk. And then next morning at about 10 o'clock, they will be here. So there will be some lecture, some singing, and they will have lunch with us here. So that is the plan. Then they will leave. So that is the plan for that 13th. So if you like to be in a big crowd, do come. It is anyway Sunday. So yeah. So let us start today's program. There are quite a few things that will be happening today. So we will begin first with the national anthem. I know it is who made the tune, I don't know. It is a bit difficult to sing, but Peter will lead us into that as always. So Peter, please begin.
So they chose an impossible tune to sing for a song that everybody's supposed to sing. So
We should stand up.
should we? But anyway, help me out because I will need some help singing this song. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Well done.
I love these words. Mm. Land of the free, home of the brave. Only those who like, to pay for the freedom. The freedom, we all want freedom. Question is, are we ready to pay for the freedom? Many things we like in the shop, like somebody may go and say that I want to buy a Lamborghini. Are you ready to pay? I want something in $20. Then you will get a toy, Lamborghini. So freedom is something that we have to actually pay for. That is the home of that brave, home of the brave. One has to be brave. Means there are, the invitations to be coward and timid and enjoy in slavery. Slavery has its comforts, and therefore people do not really go for freedom because they will have to give up those comforts of slavery. In slavery, somebody else takes care of you. You are not really responsible, and therefore one has to be brave to have that freedom. So, therefore, it is home for the brave. So, today we have a special guest speaker, a professor from what university? Huh? Dallas, but the name of the university is SMU. Huh? So it is from SMU, our Professor Gordon Walker. He had given speeches here earlier. He was anyway going to come for the meditate-a-thon. He has never missed meditate-a-thon, always for the whole now, about 12 years that we are having. He was the constant person there. So, I request him to give a speech about, yes, small, poquito. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Gordon. Yeah, please come. You can get on big shoes, no problem. Sorry? You can have your shoes on. You can have your shoes. Okay.
So I have no idea why Swami asked me to talk about July 4th. I'm not an historian.
There's
Oh,
the microphone, yeah. It is not your classroom,
How's that? Is that good? So actually, this was written, the national anthem was written after the Revolutionary War. It was another war we had with the British. I don't know if you know that, but, and they were bombing a fort in Baltimore. And there were lots of explosions in the air, wherefore rockets red glow and such things. Anyway, post-revolution. So what do I know about July 4th? Oh, actually, only what Siri can tell me. I looked before I asked Siri, but I wanted to see what she thought. Siri is a joke. Y'all know Siri? Anyway, Siri's a voice on the phone. So it turns out that July 4th became a national holiday along with 3 other holidays in 1870. So it hasn't been around forever. Some states, Massachusetts was the first in 81, to decide to celebrate it. So maybe even before the Revolutionary War was over, there was a July 4th holiday north of here. And some states, North Carolina being one, decided to celebrate it subsequently, but nationally it wasn't until President Grant in 1870 decided to have national holidays. So there were 4 of them: Christmas, New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, and July 4th. I would say that July 4th is unique in its status. It's the only holiday that's secular, truly secular, and national in its meaning, fully national. Christmas and Easter are both religious holidays. Thanksgiving is a family holiday with food. And what else is there? I think I'm kind of... Sorry?
Did you say New Year's?
Oh, and New Year's. Oh, New Year's, I guess, is also a secular national holiday, but it's basically an evening of drinking beforehand, and so it doesn't have the same sort of daily happy moment in the sunlight. Usually, an unhappy moment in the sunlight. That's the next day, actual New Year's Day. For some people, not for everybody. But July 4th is a national holiday without controversy, which is helpful. Everybody seems to be willing to celebrate it pretty much in the same way. There are 3 pieces to that way. So far as I remember how I grew up and so on, you can all tell me what you think, but usually there's sort of a grilling food event, hot dogs mostly, hamburgers, some potato salads, sort of classic American lunch food. And then there's the second part is a parade. Most towns will have a parade, frequently with floats, and children are involved in that in a frequently innovative way. So they have their own little bicycles with flags on them and so on, and it's very entertaining. Whole towns will, I think there's actually one down the street here, the roads are closed off, and there are families sort of gathering to watch the parade in Providence, probably in 15 minutes. And then the third piece to the holiday, the fireworks. So you may know that north of here, Boston, actually sort of northwest of here in a way, Boston has spectacular fireworks on the Charles, and the Boston Pops plays Tchaikovsky. Actually, first the Tchaikovsky, and then the fireworks. And people line up on the MIT side of the river and watch them. There's a shell on the Charles where the Pops plays. And for a long time, it may be still televised on GBH in Boston, probably. And then there's a very large fireworks display in New York City, Macy's Fun Sit, typically around the Statue of Liberty, or certainly in the harbor. And the harbor is covered with boats. People go out and watch it. And most every town will have, certainly our town in Texas has a big fireworks display. Every town has a fireworks display. And they vary in scale, whatever that means, typically in sophistication and length. Those are the two big ones. And if you have a boat, I grew up on Western Long Island Sound, you can go out and sit in your boat not too far from shore and watch every single town's fireworks on both sides of the Sound, on the Long Island Sound, the Long Island side and on the Westchester side. And that's true. I can't think of another place that might be like that quickly, but maybe San Francisco Bay is a possibility. Maybe if you go out in the harbor in Los Angeles, you could see all the towns with their fireworks. But anyway, so it's a very sort of regular event. And I don't know how long it's been like this, certainly in my lifetime, and I'm getting older. So I would say in the last 75 years, when my memory started, it was always the same. Hot dogs and potato salad, maybe fried chicken, who cares? And actually children's fireworks too are very dangerous. And so children had a need to fire off their own rockets and firecrackers and such. So there were a lot of accidents and burnt fingers, but it was worth it. So that's sort of the 4th of July. It sits in the center of the country, almost exactly in the center of the year. It's not even as, I would say Memorial Day is more the summer solstice, or Memorial Day and the 4th of July occupy. So why do we have it? Maybe I should go back to the origin. The reason we have it is that the Declaration of Independence reputedly, it was said that it was signed on July 4th. There's some discussion it was really signed on July 2nd, but who cares? So there was a sort of seminal moment in the history of the country that I guess the country wanted to celebrate. And I don't know how many of you have been to England, but the British are still quite angry about it. They don't like Americans because we split off from them, over 300 years ago? No, for sure. And they tried to get us back fighting in a different war. Didn't work out. So here we are, one more year of independence. Kind of amusing. Anyway, that's my little talk on July 4th.
For some time, because Gordon raised that it has been going on for a long time, and when it actually started, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, that day was decided to be celebrated as Independence Day, and that was July 2nd. But what happened next year, everybody, all those founding fathers of the nation, they forgot. And when they remembered, it was too late to organize anything. So it was organized on July 4th. And so since then, it has been celebrated on July 4th. Many of you, the students of American history, would remember that it was, the DC was not then the capital. It was in Philadelphia. So even now you can see that place where in Philadelphia. So anyway, we will have now a nice discussion, illuminating discussion by Advait and his elder sister. But Advait has prepared everything because, no, you prepared. Okay, okay, that you can sort it out on the stage. They will have a discussion on various issues about American independence. Please come.
All right, hello, and thank you, Swamiji, for this chance. So, exactly 1 year ago at this time, Simone Biles at the Paris Olympics was breaking all sorts of records in gymnastics. But that performance pales in comparison to the mental gymnastics I did to try and avoid having to give this speech. But I couldn't escape, and so here we are. Our country is almost 250 years old and at a very critical moment. But before we can look at how to move forward, we must begin at how the nation formed.
Between 1607 and 1733, 13 British colonies were established along the eastern coast of North America, beginning with Virginia and ending with Georgia. These colonies laid the foundation for what would later become the United States. So what happened to these 13 colonies?
Well, eventually tension rose with Britain over taxes and governance, leading to colonial unrest. Colonists started to feel as though they were unfairly treated, and Britain was making decisions for them without their consent.
They were being heavily taxed, like with the Stamp Act and Tea Act, but had no representatives in Parliament to speak for them. This is where the phrase, "no taxation without representation," came from.
Yes, and it wasn't just about money. The British government also passed laws that limited trade, controlled local governments, and even forced colonists to house British soldiers. People started questioning the whole idea of monarchy, that no one person should be born to rule over others. Instead, everyone's equal and everyone should have a voice in their government.
These ideas of liberty, equality, and self-determination became the heart of the revolution. The colonists didn't just want less control from Britain. They wanted to create something entirely new. By 1776, the colonies had had enough of British rule. They voted on July 2nd, and on July 4th, 1776, they declared the independence.
But they didn't get freedom right away. They had to fight for it. The Revolutionary War broke out between the colonies and Great Britain and lasted from 1775 to 1783. It was long, it was brutal, and it was uncertain.
And the odds were against the Americans, as Britain was the world's preeminent military power at the time.
The colonists had some big advantages, though. They were fighting on their home ground, they received support from other nations, such as France, and they had strong leaders like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and many more.
You're right, the turning point was in 1777, when France officially joined the American side.
So is that when the war ended?
Not quite. The war lasted a couple more years, but finally in 1783, the war ended with the Treaty of Paris. This is when Britain recognized the United States as an independent nation.
At that time, the Articles of Confederation were the first constitution of the fledgling new country, creating a weak central government where the power remained mostly with the individual states.
But this didn't work out too well. 4 years later, delegates from the states met in Philadelphia to improve the situation. However, instead of tweaking the articles, they wrote a whole new document. This was the US Constitution.
So how did that help us?
The Constitution was actually very beneficial. This new document gave a stronger federal government with the three branches: executive, judicial, and legislative. This idea of separation of powers was and still remains one of the foundation principles of American democracy. Overall, this was a big step towards unity.
That's true. In 1789, the Constitution went into effect, and George Washington became the first president. The United States was officially up and running, and over time, through westward expansion and more land purchases from other nations and their colonial territories, the complete United States as we know it today formed.
Gradually, amendments were made to the Constitution as well, the first 10 of which are known as the Bill of Rights. These give every person critical, undeniable rights, such as freedom of religion, due process, and freedom of speech. So I can say whatever I want.
All right, so the Constitution was a history-changing document, but how much of a practical effect did it have? Can we really claim that the U.S. lives up to the ideals of equality for all people when its history has been stained by several violent, dehumanizing moments?
I don't think so. Slavery was a brutal system that treated millions of Black people as property, stripping them of freedom, dignity, and basic human rights. And women were denied the right to vote for most of U.S. history, silencing half the population and excluding them from full citizenship. Additionally, the genocide and forced displacement of Native Americans erased cultures, took lives, and was one of the darkest and most violent chapters of the nation's past. If those are the foundations we built this country on, can we really say we've ever truly stood for equality?
Well, those are certainly very unfortunate periods from our history, but we must also reconcile our failures with the idea that people's views on morality have always been advancing. So, of course, previous eras are littered with human rights violations and inequality, but centuries from now, our time period may also be looked upon in the same way. So we can only really judge a country by comparing it to the global status quo at that time.
Yes, but if we are to consider ourselves as the leaders of the world, then we should hold ourselves to higher standards than the rest of the world, right?
Of course, and so there's no justifying some of these things, but at least we've tried to continue correcting these wrongs. The 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote, while the Civil War, the Emancipation Proclamation, and the Civil Rights movements made massive progress in terms of striving towards racial equality. And furthermore, in terms of living up to liberal ideals, we must also consider the value of our exports. Our founding fathers proved that the Enlightenment ideals of liberty, self-determination, and equality were not just great political theories, but actually practical tenets of building a successful nation.
This was very important in inspiring other movements across the world. In France, at the end of the 18th century, there was already immense socioeconomic inequality. As situations for the financially strained lower and middle class were exacerbated by unfair tax burdens, weak leadership, and no power, the American Revolution and European Enlightenment ideals showed the French populace that it did not have to be this way.
Yeah, and revolutions also sprung up across Latin and Central America as well, forming many new republics, the ones that we know in our current maps today, and this freed the region from Spanish and Portuguese colonial rule.
Back to our country. While this was happening around the world, what was going on here?
Well, after the Civil War, America saw industrial booms and railroads, steel, and oil industries generated massive amounts of wealth, although it wasn't evenly distributed. We also, at this time, became the largest economy, overtaking Great Britain.
And then the two world wars occurred, where we played a major role in winning them for the Allies, which cemented our military strength as well. After the end of World War II, the US steps into the limelight as one of the world's true superpowers, with much of the world's other heavyweights in Europe and Asia still suffering from the consequences of the war.
At first, we were alongside the Soviet Union as the two main powers, but after they collapsed, we became the sole hegemon. But during and after this period, though, in the role of the world's police, have we been a good actor? Can we say that we've lived up to our ideals and left a positive legacy on the world?
Of course, look at what we did in the aftermath of World War II. We helped rebuild Japan and much of Western Europe, funding post-war economic recovery, spreading liberalism, and forging reliable alliances.
Okay, but what about our interventions during the Cold War? In Afghanistan, we supported movements that gave rise to multiple terrorist groups. In Vietnam, we fought against an anti-colonial independence movement only to lose the war, massive damage to our reputation, and also racked up millions of casualties in the process.
Yes, but the intention was justified. Authoritarianism and communism are bad, and we have seen the kind of mass-scale suffering they can cause. We wanted to enshrine liberal ideals and capitalism, a framework that has lifted millions out of poverty in every nation, for the benefit of everyone involved.
But was it really worth the deaths of millions of people around the world? Also, in many of these cases, it wasn't just about delivering democracy to these countries. It was also about protecting American business interests. In Iran, we threw a democratically elected leader to protect our and Britain's oil interests, and this started a movement that led to today's extremist nation. We also supported coups and often anti-liberal, anti-democratic leaders across Latin America to help with American fruit business.
Yes, many of these were either improperly planned or unjustified, and very often always led to massive death tolls. But we must accept that we will have some role to play globally, as the most powerful country economically and militarily. So we can learn from our mistakes and continue aspiring to be a greater, more just leader on the international stage.
Certainly, we should strive to uphold international law and continue working towards a world free of violence, regional instability, and meaningless conflict. But moving away from the international scene back to the domestic one, though, where does all of this leave us 250 years on from our independence?
Well, we have ominous, unprecedented levels of inequality, which history would suggest does not bode well for social cohesion, peace, or ultimately the survival of republics. There is a crisis of misinformation and polarization fueled by the internet.
At the same time, there are threats to free speech, while populism and demagoguery are on the rise. So I guess what we must realize is that our Constitution not only grants us rights, but endows upon us responsibilities that every person of this nation must fulfill.
The biggest weakness of democracies is that they are only as strong as their citizenry. It remains up to us to be educated, to vote, and to look out for one another if we are to ensure that the American experiment thrives for centuries to come. Although we are now a free country, we must each strive for our own individual freedom, freedom from ignorance and worldly attachments.
Okay. And for those of you who are still awake,
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Arohi and Advait. It was a very good presentation, highlighting certain important parts of American independence. Many questions that come about it, they were asked and answered. So it is one important point that I want to stress here, because we are in Rhode Island, that in the Bill of Rights there is this independence, means you can have any religion that you want to practice without getting your domiciliary rights affected by that. Whatever religion you want to practice, freedom of religion and separation of church and state, these were initiated officially in Rhode Island. It is that there was that Roger Williams, who had this strong conviction that one may practice whatever religion that one feels comfortable with, religion should not be imposed on anybody. There is a very famous statement attributed to Roger Williams that the coarse religion stinks in the nostrils of God. So it is, religion should not be an imposition. And there are some very nice articles that you will see that here in this state, Rhode Island, say in Providence also, you can just see by walking a little down there that compared to these other cities close by, like Attleboro, just across the border of Rhode Island, you have this Attleboro, Seekonk, Rehoboth, all these cities. And just on the side there, other side, Connecticut, you will find historically that the church and the city hall, they are side by side. Same people would sit here and there. Same governors would be there. The voters register was the list of the members of the church. So if you are not member of the church, your name will not appear in the voting list. So it was like that, which was all changed. Here you can see it in the architecture, that the church, that old church is still there, about more than 400 years old. And the first congregation church. The church is on this side of the river, east side of the river, and the city hall and the state house are on the other side. So that is the separation that was made, that that civic administration will be completely separate from church administration. And Rhode Island became the last of the states to join the first 13 states, For first 13 states, in which Rhode Island was the last one to join. And one of the issues that it resisted about joining the union was this part in the state's constitution, separating church and the state and freedom of religion. Till that was incorporated in the federal constitution, Rhode Island said, we are not going to join. There were other issues also about the currency and other things. But then that is how you can see that this idea, separation of the church and state, here in American Constitution, now it is enshrined. And that is why people enjoy the freedom of faith. And in all countries, it is not still available. So, although one can, as a part of democracy, one agrees to that yes, there would be this church. It is a personal thing, whatever one's connection with God is. And so, accordingly, that person should move. But the church is something that governs all of us. That state is for all of us. So that is how they should be different. In the American democracy, it became actually, as has been pointed out by Arohi and Advait, that all over the world, the American independence and then embracing democracy became a model to fight for, to hold on to. So that is a very important thing ushered in by the American independence. So again, thank you, Arohi and Advait, for this presentation. Now we will have, some singing. Swami Vivekananda wrote a wonderful song on 4th July, to 4th July. And our Shravani she is a musician. She happens to be here. She used to live here, but or around, but now she has moved to Chicago. So, but she came here for this meditate-a-thon, and so I requested that you please sing it this time, the song that Swamiji wrote on for July 4th. So Shravani, please, I think Peter will be helping her. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So good to be back. Many of you I know for many, many years, and very nice to see all of you. Thank you, Swamiji, for this opportunity to sing a song, the poem which was written by Swami Vivekananda. So it's also a way to honor and show tribute, because as many of you know, that 4th of July is also when Swamiji breathed his last. He left his mortal frame. And thank you, Peter, for picking it up in such a short time, and thanks for accompanying. So we'll get started. Behold, the dark clouds melt away that gathered thick at night, and hung so like a gloomy pall above the earth. Before thy magic touch, the world awakes. The birds in chorus sing, the flowers raise their starlight crowns to set, and wave the welcome fair. The lakes are opening wide in love, their 100,000 lotus eyes to welcome thee with all their depths. Oh, hail to thee, the Lord of light. A welcome new to thee today, O Son. Today thou sheddest liberty. Bethink thee how the world did wait and search for thee through time and clime. Some gave up home and love of friends and went in quest of thee. Sailed beneath through dreary oceans, through primeval forests, just step or struggle for their life or death. Then came the day when work bore fruit and worship, love and sacrifice, fulfilled, accepted, and complete. Then the propitious rose to shine the light of freedom on mankind. Move on, O Lord, on thy resistless path, till thy high noon overspreads the world, till every land reflects thy light, till man and women in uplifted head behold their shackles broken, and know in springing joy their life
freedom. My predecessor Swami Sarvagatananda used to love that poem. In fact, some part of that poem he printed and kept in the dining hall attached to the wall. So it is, and it was there for a long time. In some renovation and some work, it has been taken out, but it was there. So I request Peter, he put a very nice tune to it and sang last year also, and previous year might be. I don't remember. My memory is very so please, Peter, let's have that song. Do you have that song here? Song of the Free? Song of the Free, exactly.
I wasn't familiar with this song until Swami asked me to try to do something, put it to music, and it's just such a powerful poem. The wounded snake its hood unfurls, the flame stirred up the flames. The desert air rescinds the sound, harp struck by its cloud puts forth its deluge strain, lightning cleaves its breast. When the soul is stirred to its inmost depths, great ones unfold their best. Great ones unfold their best. When eyes grow dim and hearts grow faint, friendship falls and love betrayed. Let fate its 100 horrors send, and clouded darkness blocked the way. All nature wears one angry frown to crush you out, still knows thy soul. Fine march on and on, not right nor left, but to the goal. Not right nor left, but to the goal. Nor angel eye, nor man, nor brute, nor body mine, nor he nor she. The books do stop the wooden one note to tell thy nature I am he. Before the sun, the moon, the earth, before the stars, the comets free, before e'en time had had its birth, I was, I am, I will be. Beauteous earth, the glorious sun, calm sweet moon, the spangled sky, causation's law do make them run, they live in bonds they die. In mind its mantle dreary net, cast o'er them all thy holds them fast, and warp and woof of dead repels and leaving was our best. All no, these are but the outer crust, all space and time, effect and cause. I am beyond all sense, all thought, the witness of the universe. Not two nor many, 'tis but one, and thus me and me I have. Cannot hate, I cannot shove myself from me, I can but love. From dreams awake, from bonds be free, be not afraid this mystery. My shadow cannot frighten me, no one's for all that I am. No one's for all that I am. No one's for all.
Can our shadows frighten us? My shadows cannot frighten me. I am the Atman, the God. We have to hold on to this record. And that is why in the previous stanza he declares that before the sun, before the moon, before the star had its birth, I was, I am, and I be ever free, free from the bonds of time, peace, free from the bonds which tie all human beings, the desires, different types of entanglements. It is if which those are around, then only political freedom is not going to help us, friends. Political freedom is just a tiny step. It is the real freedom comes when we are ready to get out of this bond of ignorance and the desire that springs from that. And that is what is taught by Sri Ramakrishna. So there will be this song now written by Charlie, and most of you know that performance. Peter will play guitar for him.
Right.
You have that song?
It's there.
Yeah.
In the key of G. Now, this song, I didn't write the whole thing. I just came up with the words. The tune is to a patriotic song called Yankee Doodle. Ready? Rama Krishna went to temple doing Kali Puja. Went into samadhi, when you do it goes right through ya. Rama Krishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Meditation every day helps change all those samskaras. Sarada Devi took a journey just to see her husband. When she got there, he told her she'd have hundreds of children. Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Meditation every day helps change all those samskaras. Swamiji went to Chicago, Parliament of Religions. When he did address the crowd, the cheering, it was legions. Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Meditation every day helps change all those samskaras. Certain monks to get together and they formed an order. Turned out to be Christmas Eve and now it's gotten larger. Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Meditation every day helps change all those samskaras. Ramakrishna went to temple doing Kali Puja. Went into samadhi, when you do it goes right through ya. Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and Vivekananda. Meditation every day helps change all those samskaras.
So we have come almost to the end of today, this wonderful program. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I live across a pond. Literally live across a pond
last night when I saw there were a lot of lotus leaves. It represents the song we sang a few minutes before. And this morning, the pond is literally covered with white, I think it's called the small pond or something in Narragansett. It's literally covered with white lotuses all around. And it reminds me of that song stanza that you played. And just the other part that when Obama was doing his inauguration speech, he said that he held his head high and the winds flow free, which is exactly, I mean, misquoting it, but it's a Rabindranath Tagore poem, and he took steps to say that, and it reminds us that we really need to keep our heads free, head held high, and breathe with the air, and still stop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you. These reflections were very good about on yesterday. There was a big storm. He lives in Narragansett, so there he must have seen this beautiful lake. Spirit of Rhode Island. Yeah, Spirit of Rhode Island. Right? So, very good. So, now we will have this food offering, and then we will have the singing of the Sarva Mangala Mangalya. We conclude with the prayers to the Divine Mother, and then we all will go down to the potluck lunch. Whatever is in our luck, we'll get that. Huh?
We will have to sing more than one.
The mantra also. Yeah. So, get it. Right. Oh, yes, that is still left to be done. Yeah, they reminded America defeated every year on this Independence Day, we sing it. So I had to mention it to Peter, but I just forgot to do that.
Please sing along. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriot's dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster city, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God mend thine every flaw. Confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for heroes prove in liberating strife, more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every grain divine.
So I will do a quick and then
सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणे नमोस्तुते सृष्टिस्थितिविनाशानां शक्तिभूते सनातने गुणाश्रये गुणमये नारायणे नमोस्तुते शरणागत दीनार्थ परित्राण परायणे सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवी नारायणे नमोस्तुते जय 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 श्री राम कृष्ण देव की जय जय श्री शारदा देवी की जय जय श्री स्वामी विवेकानंद की जय जय श्री बुद्धदेव की जय जय श्री जीसस क्राइस्ट की जय ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महवे ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैवतेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना हरि ओम तत्सत् ओम शांति 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 and they'll complain, but love, respect, and cooperate with all. May we not find faults with others, but try to find our own faults. May we not treat others as strangers, but learn to make all our own. May we feel the whole world to be our own. Peace, peace, peace be unto us.